All right, today we're going to go ahead and kick off the review of the Suunto Core Alpha. Now, luckily, this is a very basic watch, so there's not going to be a super amount of in-depth stuff I'm going to have to go over. But what we want to find out today is if this watch is any good, and if you should buy one yourself. Suunto Core Alpha is Suunto's answer to those that want a outdoor exploration watch, but they don't want all the bells and whistles of the Apple Watch. They don't want heart rate monitor, they want better battery life. You get the idea. So I really was excited about the Suunto Core Alpha because I love the idea of just a basic watch that has stopwatch, timer, even like the compass and all that stuff on there. And, something that you can take camping or traveling the Appalachian Trail and not have to worry about recharging the thing every damn night, which is, of course, the Apple Watch's biggest weakness. That said, the Suunto Core Alpha is quintessential Suunto in that it is fairly unintuitive, although that is something that you get used to pretty quick, and I'll get into that in a second. The screen quality is pretty bad, and I'll get into that more in a minute too. And the functions it offers don't work particularly well. So, spoiler alert, I don't think I recommend this watch. But that said, we'll at least go over everything so you can just determine if it's right for you or not. 5 buttons, all of which are unmarked, and you'll forget what they do pretty quickly. This is the light button. I don't know if you can see that on camera, being that this is the Alpha Stealth model, this has a red backlight, which is nice looking. And the watch itself is very nice and very robust and beast. I mean, compared to like a Casio G-Shock, it's like a little more modern, I guess, and looks more like a traditional smartwatch. But I mean, it can take a beating just as good as the Casios. The screen quality is where I have my first initial complaint. It is kind of hard to read if we're being honest. Now on camera that doesn't translate too well because you can see it on camera pretty well, but when you're out in the elements, like this watch is going to require like just a little bit more effort to see it, even more so than the negative displays on the Casio G-Shocks. The display is just kind of not that bright. And you can go into a service mode in the watch to adjust that, but it just doesn't ever seem to really make it bright enough. So I'm going to go ahead and ping it on a negative right there. I wish the screen was just a little bit brighter, a little bit easier to read. Luckily, the font is big, so you can kind of see that stuff pretty easily. Strap, that's something with the Core Alpha Stealth as well. Comes with this nylon strap. It's very, very robust. It's also changeable, little screws here. Love that. That's really nice. Little bag that's got, you can use like a little coin or a screwdriver or something, open that, put a new battery in, so that's pretty nice. Good easy maintenance. The buttons, let's go ahead and walk through the buttons here really quick. Oh, actually, let's talk about functions first. So, has the time, obviously, time date, has a chronograph, has the stopwatch, has a timer, which I really have some questions about what they did with the timer. Altimeter, barometer, and compass. Let me go ahead and start. Well, let's stick with the time first. So if you hit this button right here, this is like the mode button, or I'm sorry, this is like the the sub screen button. So as you hit this, it will cycle through the various functions of the time of the time category. So here you've got the date, you've got the seconds. You got this little like ticker going across the screen there, kind of cool touch. You've got a second time zone that you can put in there. This is the sunrise and sunset, and I have found that that's pretty accurate. It is algorithmic. It's not based off of satellite data or anything like that, but it does a good job. I do like that feature a lot. Here is the stopwatch. You start it with, see, I don't even know what fucking button. Not that one. You start it with this button. This is the start-stop button. And you kind of hold that one for a few moments to clear it. If the stopwatch is moving, it does not have a lap feature. It just stops, which is fine. Not everybody needs a lap feature. It's just worth noting. The timer. This really annoys me. You cannot change the timer in the timer function. So what you have to do in order to change the timer is you press and hold this middle button, which brings you to the settings. And then in the settings, you go to countdown, and then from there you can adjust the timer. That is a whole lot of extra steps for a damn countdown timer, which I use a lot and really, really like and need. And then you just have like the blank face. So one of the reasons why I wanted to get this instead of why I wanted to try this over the G-Shock is because the G-Shock's timer is a little bit of a pain in the butt to navigate around as well. And the buttons are kind of small and a little bit, you need a lot of pressure in order to actuate them. Whereas this is nice big buttons. They, have nice big firm clicks. I mean, the buttons do feel really, really good on this watch. I think you'll like that. By the way, these are two tritium little dots, so like at nighttime, in the dark, these will kind of glow in the dark there. Anyway, let's move along. So those are the functions of the time feature, and the timer and the stopwatch could use some work. I really feel like Suunto should be allowed to, or should have made it to where you can change the timer in the timing function. So let's go to the next mode. To do that, you click this button right here. There we go. All right, mode. Now, this gives you the temperature, wildly off, and this gives you the barometric pressure. I'm also not convinced that it is particularly accurate. If you go through the different modes, you can log your altimeter. I think that's probably useful for maybe like people doing like major hikes and stuff like that. Bear in mind that altimeter log is only on the watch itself, so you can't like import it to or export it to like an Excel sheet or a smartphone or something like that. It's only read on here. Next function is, this is obviously tells you the reference point to sea level, 82 feet. Goes back to the time, so that way you can have the time while looking at your barometric pressure and altimeter, and then blank, back here. Thermometer. These watches that have this built-in thermometer, such as the Casio Pathfinders and the Tissot's, for example, that temperature is never accurate when it is on your wrist, because it is taking, of course, the temperature of your wrist. But that said, this watch hasn't been on my wrist at all today, and it is still wildly inaccurate. I have calibrated it. It remains inaccurate. That was a problem I had with the Suunto 7, I believe it was. The thermometer was just asinine and just didn't. Let's get this back in view here, and just didn't do the job. Didn't do the trick. You also have a storm like alarm to where when this thing like drops a certain amount of points, it will make an alarm. Basically indicating the barometric pressure is falling and a storm is incoming, except that alarm goes off at random times throughout the day, even when it is a beautiful sunny day. However, on the day that it was that it started to downpour outside when we were playing or doing some ultimate frisbee, of course, it never went off then at all. So the barometer in here is, again, calibrated, just doesn't work all that well. As for the altimeter, I'll just take their word for it. I haven't done any analytical scientific studies on that, so whatever. Let's just move along. The final mode is the compass. Keep level and rotate. You have to do this pretty much every time. So we'll keep level, rotate the watch. This is intuitive. There we go. That just takes too damn long. Let's see how accurate it is. Let's do the Apple Watch's compass here. Where are you at? Stupid Apple Watch. A bunch of crap on here. There we go. Apple Watch says that this is due east 90 degrees. And start compass. Did you go off? Did you go off? You did. You dirty dog. Due east 90. Yeah, so the compass is accurate-ish. That'll bail you out if you need. It's fine. I mean, it's bouncing all over the place there. Look at that. Can't make up its mind what it is. And that's that. That is that's the Suunto Core Alpha Stealth. Should you buy it? No. It's all their. I'm going to be doing a Suunto 9 review here pretty soon. It just all their products seem to just be missing something, and I'll probably get a bunch of Suunto fans on here saying like, "Oh, you're using it wrong," or "You don't know what you're doing," and blah blah. Yeah, or they just don't make good products. How about that? You're much better off with a Garmin Instinct, which I think is still one of the absolute king of watches. If you want something a little more basic and simplified, G-Shock is superior. And then, of course, if you want something a little more fancy and sophisticated, you've always got the Apple Watch. The Tissot I kind of fell out of love with. I'll do a separate video on that as to why, but I still think it's a better watch than this one. They're a totally different price bracket, though. I mean, that's $1,000. This is like $200. If the functions were accurate and if they made the countdown timer a little bit more usable, you know, I really wanted to like this watch. I just don't. Anyway, that is the Suunto Core Alpha. We give it maybe like a thumb sideways. There are better offerings out there. Anyway, thanks for watching. We will be back with another video really soon.